Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another locals match at my locals for you to enjoy. Happy days. It's me, TheXploder, and today it is Fight Club versus a returning competitor from the first modern matches. It's Nat. They return. With more aggro? Nat, how dare you? But these were fun games regardless. I love playing with Nat, and I love sharing those games with you guys, so thank you for coming along. And big shout out to Geek Retreat, the local game store that I do go to, allowing me to record in the store. Legendary guys, be sure to support your local Geek Retreat or your local store wherever you go to make sure that you can keep the Lorcana fun times going wherever you are. And another big shout out to Magic Madhouse. Thanks to them, you are able to support the channel directly. If you're into any TCGs, TTRPGs or tabletop fun times in general, why don't you look at the link below that will send you over to Magic Madhouse. Anything that you buy with my link, not just where you get a cheeky little bit of a discount, but anything that you buy will also help me and the channel directly if you want to support us in that way. Every little helps. I'm thankful regardless of whether you do, whether you don't. It doesn't matter, we're here to have fun. It's Lorcana, it's fun times. I'm against aggro, I get Nat. Why is it always aggro? But anyway, we have my experimental Fight Club versus Nat's aggro. Let's cut the chase and get it on. Okay, starting off with me, I ink Friar Tuck in order to play for turn 1 Li Shang, classic play in my Fight Club deck. By the way, I've been meaning to say this in the last couple of matches that you would have seen from this set that I've recorded, and I've completely forgotten to add it in commentary, which is completely my bad. But if you do want to try out the Fight Club deck for yourself, maybe even edit it to see if you can improve it, I will have the Fight Club deck available up on my Discord server. You can go over there whenever you feel like. I normally post up all my other decks that I make whenever I'm here, there and anywhere, and they're there for you guys to enjoy. You can even post up your decks as well if you so wish to, so we can match, compare and help each other build the best decks that we can. So just to recap, Nat on their turn decides to play out a Maleficent for Quest for 2. Back onto my turn, I ink play out another Li Shang, Quest for 1. I'm on the board first. It's not going to last for long. There is a Boggy Boy follower going into the ink for Nat, as we see Pinocchio of because Pinocchio quests for 3, the dastardly nosy boy. Nat quest for 2, higher up on the board as it's back over to me for the turn. What am I going to do with 2 Li Shangs? What am I going to do with 2 Li Shangs? What am I going to do with 2 Li Shangs? I can't even do the song right. Great. This is what you come for, people. You come for Lorcana games and wacky commentary. And if you don't like either, why are you here? Unless you're just interested in seeing just someone crash and burn. It's fine. It's fine. I just like making fun of myself. It's all good. So we pay 3. We go straight into the Prince John. I have my 2 Li Shangs just sitting there chilling at the moment. I'm going to bop Maleficent with Li Shang. Take that 1 damage. Quest for 1. Go to 2. Go straight over to Nat. Fantastic. Not a bad turn. The trick with dealing with aggro, and I think I explained this with Nat's games and maybe Ruth's games in the last set of matches that I talked about. The trick with aggro is managing the board. If you can control the board from an early get-go and stop your opponent from having a sizable hand, because that's the downside. The downside of aggro is that normally aggro doesn't worry about card draw a lot, because they want to end the game relatively early by questing high as soon as they can. Nat there with a fantastic move, laying out the Donald Duck, giving the +1 law over to Pinocchio, so Pinocchio is able to quest for 4 instead of 3, taking Nat up to 6. Fantastic move. So that's my game plan here. Even though my deck may not necessarily be kitted out to do so, I effectively need to try and control the board as best I can so that Nat is effectively top decking, trying to win over the game as best as they can, whilst for me, if I can control the board long enough to a point where then I can just play out my big Li Shangs, play out my Lumieres, get all of my guys to +4 or more attack, and now I'm just able to casually quest for 2 every single turn with multiple characters at once, I can quickly catch up. So for me, I'm playing for the late game. Nat's going to play for the early game. I instead decide to pay 3, going for Hypnotize, make Nat discard a card to hopefully screw over the aggro potential here. With that in mind, Nat's very upset with me and I'm very sorry. Discards Piglet, which is a big boon for me. I draw 1 card off of Hypnotize, draw a 2nd card off of Prince John. Fantastic work for me. I have not inked yet this turn, so I still have some potential to do some very cheeky shenanigans. It's a shame I don't have a Lumiere out on the board, because if I also had a Sudden Chill, I could then sing for Sudden Chill, more discard, more card draw, and that would help me tremendously against this deck. Also, if I had a Lumiere, I would trade the damaged Li Shang into the Donald Duck that also has Bodyguard, just to get rid of the Donald, so I can easily get at that Pinocchio and help clear that board. So we've inked Brawl. It's a decision I've had to make, and I decide, you know what, Nat's not going to really attack me, so I'm just going to quest with everything and go up to 6. Match Nat on the board front. And I would like to say that's a pretty good turn. And because I have quested with Prince John could potentially be attacked by Donald. But if Prince John is being attacked by Donald, that means Nat's not using Donald for any singing, because Nat could sing with Donald Duck in order to draw a couple of cards with something like Friends on the Other Side, for example. You can never rule it out. Instead, Nat going for the questing for 4, going straight up to 10. Fantastic move on their part. But do we see anything else from Nat? Nat's getting a little bit annoyed that the Piglet had to go, but that was just a good move on my part. Getting rid of that Piglet is a huge boon. If that Piglet stayed down the board, it would be a very annoying character to deal with even more lore gains to be had. We see the double Lilo out on the board. There is now a potential to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 next turn, unless I start doing some board swiping, which hopefully I can do. I draw for turn. Here we go, 4 ink on the board, 3 characters out, ready to rumble. I need a way to get through the Donald Duck first, because he does have Bodyguard, and I will save it. I think I've said this once, I would gladly say this again. I think Donald Duck is probably one of the best bodyguards in Amber, next to Baloo and next to Simba. He's a fantastic bodyguard card. If you are running anything in Amber, especially if it's aggro, consider that Donald Duck. He's extremely good. I pay 2, there's the Lumiere, and I can finally pull off a tech I was looking forward to. And there is a Flynn Rider as well, because that's not going to have big attack value people, so I might as well take advantage as of my next turn and be able to get free lore if I'm lucky enough. So here's me, we're now doing some calculations. I do have my big Li Shang out on the board as well, so I can potentially quest big. We're going to trade my damaged Li Shang with Donald Duck, which was the big plan I was hoping to do from earlier. Pinocchio is there, looking a little bit sus. I can't do anything with Lumiere or Flynn Rider because they've only freshly come into play this turn. And I think, yes I do, I just dink Pinocchio with Prince John. Prince John killed something! I know, what an absolute mad lad. I could have quested for 2, but Pinocchio quests for 3. There is 2 Lilos back there that are going to quest for 4 next turn. There is no way I can let Nat quest for that much that early. I needed to do something, so I hope you guys understand my choices. Meanwhile, over to Nat's turn, checking the discard pile, being a little bit upset. I've hit a few of her favourite boys. Pays 4, goes Queen's Castle. Intimidation begins. Queen's Castle, if you don't know what it does, fantastic location, probably the best location in the entire game. 4 cost location, 7 willpower, 1 to travel to. You get 2 lore passively at the start of your turn, and you can draw an additional card at the start of your turn for every character at this location, making it really ballsy. Now, goes to my turn. Flynn Rider activates. I get +3 lore taking me up, which is fantastic. There are 2 Lilos and a Queen's Castle in play that I need to deal with. The Lilos are the immediate threat. The Queen's Castle is a threat, but not necessarily immediate, so I need to weigh up some options here. with the ink I have at my disposal, I have slapped out Cubby. We have Cubby in play. We've been waiting for this for the past 2 games. He is here. The 3-5 bear bestiality that is now on this board. If I had a location, I could move him to it to then turn him into a 6-5 beat stick. And remember, Cubby's effect is not once per turn. You can abuse it if you so wish to turn him into a god, which I maybe plan to do for next set. If you want to know my tech deck ideas for next set involving Cubby, be sure to keep an eye out over on my TikTok channel, where I go over deck techs, what I'm looking at building, what I have been building, deck profiles, as well as talking about Lorcana in general with you guys and your comments and all that fun jazz. So if you're interested in that, join me over there as I quest for big lore, going straight up to 15 against Nat's 16. Yes, that Queen's Castle is still a threat, but now with Cubby on the board, if I just get one location, Cubby can smack into the location for 6. If it's Hidden Cove, smacks it into it for 7 and immediately gets rid of it. But guess what? That is a Chernabog. Chernabog comes into play really cheap because of Nat having so many characters in the discard. That's why Nat was looking at that for so long, but gives up. Nat just didn't see any chance of winning. I managed to control the board enough. Game 1 to me. It's time for Game 2. Okay, people, Game 2 is ready. Mulligan's complete. Nat starting off with a ink of the Chernabog followers straight into the 1-drop Lilo. Are we going to see a classic first chapter play of a turn 2 Simba bodyguard? We're going to have to wait and find out as it goes over to my turn. Ink the Cubby. Do I have a turn 1 Li Shang? You bet your bottom dollar it's a Hidden Cove. Ha ha! Gotcha there, didn't I? Ooh. But yes, Hidden Cove. I would have preferred Li Shang turn 1, but beggars can't be choosers like we've established in some of my other games. So like I said, are we going to see the Bodyguard Simba? Yes, we are. Bodyguard Simba comes in, defends for Lilo, quest for 2. Classic first chapter play by Nat. Beautiful work. As we go back over to my turn, Hidden Cove. As much as I love Hidden Cove, just having +1 attack, +1 willpower on any of the characters is fair, incredibly handy. Because it doesn't give you passive lore, it will just sit there. And unless you have a bunch of characters there or you are actively benefiting off of it, your opponent doesn't need to waste resources smacking into it. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. It's a dead location unless you've got characters there or you've got characters on the board ready to move into there, which is dangerous enough. So it's just one of those, really. Over to Nat's turn, 2 characters out, already 2 lore up. There's the Piglet that we didn't see last game because it got discarded, and a Maleficent as well. Look at that lore potential. So if you don't know what Piglet does, effectively Piglet, if you have 2 other characters in play, Piglet quests for +2 lore. So now Piglet, instead of questing for 1, now quests for 3. So that means on Nat's next turn, she'll get 2 from Lilo, 1 from Simba, 2 from Maleficent, and then 3 from Piglet, resulting in, let me see, 5, 6, 7, 8 lore in 1 turn. Pretty darn mad. Again, if you're running anything aggro in Amber and you're not running 4 Piglets, you need to start running 4 Piglets. That thing is a menace, I tell you. Meanwhile, on my board, I don't have the best hand known to mankind, and a double Lumiere pretty much proves it. As I move 1 to the Cove, turns it into a 3-3, or should I say a 4-3, because the Lumieres benefiting themselves. 4 attack into Simba. Luckily, Lumiere survives, because Hidden Cove does give Lumiere +1 willpower, turning him into a 3 willpower boy, making sure that Simba cannot get rid of a candle and snuff out the flame, so to say. Ha ha! You see what I did there? So yes, not as much lore on Nat's turn, but it's only by -1. That's still going to be 7. Oh look, and there's Simba. He's back again. So it's like I did nothing at all. Nat questing with absolutely everything, going up to 10. Absolutely mental. This is the power of aggro, people. And this is the thing, I know you don't really see a lot of aggro decks in the top level meta. But I think it's because a lot of meta has to revolve around control, and You can control the board pretty darn well, and once you know your opponent is running an aggro deck, you just change some minor elements of your early game so that you can always make sure you're dominating the board early on so that your opponent does not benefit from the huge amount of lore they could potentially get, which is mental. That's me just doing some mathematics out on the board. And yeah, we were just double checking the lore gains there because Nat does actually go to 12 instead, which is pretty darn mental. I shouldn't have basically helped you out with that. I should have just said, no, you didn't declare it last turn, don't make me call a judge. No, we're not going to be like that. We're fun here, guys. We like to have fun, and we work together with friends. So, you know, if you're having friendship battles, why not just be friends and chill out with each other, right? So I'm going to hit Brawl. And Brawl, does it target Piglet or does it target Simba? Because here's my thing. I've got 2 Lumieres out. They are both, at this moment in time, 4/3s thanks to Hidden Cove and each other. So, hear me out. I had a bit of a weird plan on this one. Do I go for Piglet or do I go for Simba? I went for Simba because now the bodyguard's out of the way. And now both of my Lumieres basically have free reign to dash into anything that's on the board. The Piglet, the Maleficent, or the Lilo, which in my eyes is a fantastic thing to do. I can only get rid of 2 of them, so now I have to think of what my prime 2 targets are. One has to be Piglet. However, does it need to be Piglet? I can always risk it, because if I get rid of Maleficent and Lilo, which I believe I do, yes I do, now Piglet can't quest for 3 next turn and only quest for 1, unless Nat's able to fill out the board yet again. So that still benefits me. So, and the main reason why I did that as well is because I was going to lose one of my Lumieres anyway because of the amount of damage they had. So I thought, let's make Piglet relatively useless, and then if push comes to shove next turn I can trade Lumiere out and maybe do a thing. It depends, because my hand was awful. I definitely remember my hand not being great, especially against aggro. So, classic. And this is a very interesting one. It's Dolores Madrigal. Very interesting card here. That allows you to draw an additional, which is very, very nice. I believe it's you draw an additional card if you have a character in play on your side of the board. To clarify that, I will have the card up on screen so you guys can check and I can check later. But Dolores has also got a pretty nice stat block, and it's pretty nice for aggro, because if you do play her when you have 4 ink out, she can still quest for 2. She has 3 attack and 3 defense, which is pretty darn nice. It's a snake stat block, and you can't say wrong about that. And because she's out on the board, that is a 3/3 you need to swing into. Yes, I know she doesn't have bodyguard, but that's besides the point. She quests for 2 lore every single turn. That's a threat enough if I've ever seen it. And there's Nat. Nat was just asking what Hidden Cove does again so she can understand the logic. Decides to trade Piglet with Lumiere. I think that's a solid thing. If you're not able to have multiple characters out to benefit off the Piglet, might as well get rid of it. Dolores is there to quest for 2 next turn. It's all good. Nat's ahead of the game for a moment anyway. I ink a Hypnotize. Play out, strike a good match. You can tell I'm desperate. I just don't have anything good in my hand, and I don't know why. But maybe, just maybe, I can draw into something somewhat half-decent potentially. We can hope. I decide to discard a Sudden Chill, because I'm just not going to be able to benefit from Sudden Chill right now, especially with 4 ink on board. Preferably, I need to get out a character. I ink a Sudden Chill because I haven't inked this turn. It's Cubby. It's game over. It's time. Because now, Cubby can move to a location, gain +3 when moving to the location to become a 6/5, then gain an extra 1 because of the effect of Hidden Cove, turning into a 7/5 bearable boy. That's pretty darn big, and with 5 willpower at play as well, he ain't gonna die anytime soon. He's gonna take it like a champ and keep on champing. That's how the Cubby goes. Anyway, Nat, on their turn, decides to play out a Simba bodyguard's quest for 2 with Dolores going up to 14. I still need to catch up, and I need to control the board still. There's Hypnotize, so I managed to control the hand, take advantage, draw a card off of the Hypnotize, and still have 3 ink in play. So maybe I do have a plan. Let's see if I do. 2 cards in my hand, ready to go. Tempting, tempting. What do I do? Do I do the thing? Because this is the thing. I cannot attack Dolores because Simba is in play. I need to get over the bodyguard first in order to do anything else. So what, oh what, can I do? I believe in my hand I did have another cubby, and I was tempted by the idea of, do I just play out a second cubby and then swing with my first cubby into Simba just to get rid of Simba, and then next turn I have a double cubby fun time? And that, I believe that was my headspace. I believe it was. So there we go. We ink the Aggro bar. Aggro bar wasn't going to be much use anyway unless I wanted to travel in between 2 locations. And no, it's Prince John. Never mind. I thought it was cubby and I was wrong. Pays 3 for free. No, pay 3 for Prince John and pay the extra 1 to move cubby into the location. Cubby, being a 7/5 attacking boy, swings into Simba. Just a little bit of overkill, but it's fair to be on the safe side. Now it's the end of my turn. Cubby does go back down to 3, or should I say 4, because of Hidden Cove, but a 4/5 is still an amazing stat block. And the fact that I can get rid of Dolores and that cubby will still be alive because technically he's a 4/6 while at the Cove is pretty darn mental. Cove plus cubby equals mental. And speaking of mental, there's the second cubby. But I'm not going to move the second cubby into the location because I don't have any way to give him rush. In hindsight, maybe adding in a couple of Vitalispheres to add rush into the deck would have been relatively good. More so for the aggro play than anything else. There we go. We swing into Dolores, get rid of her. Cubby, taking it like a champ. Quest for 2 with Prince John just so I can somehow get back in the game. Maybe, hopefully, possibly. Probably not. There's Lilo. Quest for 2 with Maleficent. Nat dangerously on 18. I need to get rid of Lilo this turn. Can I do it? Can I get rid of the Lee of the Low, or is it all over? Hold hope, ladies and gentlemen. There's a chance. I think that's me explaining to Nat, but I have a chance. Let's find out if I do or not. We're going to pay 1, move Cubby into the location, he becomes 7. Then we're going to pay 2. It's Big Li Shang. I do not have an answer, but those big cubbies are able to quest for 2, so I can quest for 2, 4, 6 with just those 3 characters alone, which is really nice. And because I cannot get rid of a Lilo, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to quest for 6 and give it over to Nat. Simple as that. I had no answer, no chance to win. Nat going over to their turn gets everything they need to be able to win. That is game 2 in a nutshell, folks. Just could not draw into the removal. Sad times, but maybe, just maybe, I'm able to draw into a win for the final one. It's game 3 coming up next. You've seen Cubby at his potential. Can he make a comeback? Let's find out. Alrighty, folks, are you ready for game number 3? Fight Club versus Aggro, the last match in this series. And we're going to go. Just so you guys are aware, I'm recording this in the second to last week before the release of Shimmering Skies, and at my locals, in the week of the release of Shimmering Skies, we will be doing a theme night. I will not be recording the theme night because we will be running quirky themed related decks, but if you do wish to see theme night decks in the future, let me know in the comments, because at first I was a bit 50-50 as to whether I would record them, because I don't know whether you guys would be interested in seeing theme decks for theme nights over legit decks that you can pretty much just take to whatever tournament play you want. So it's up to you. If you do want to see the theme night decks and let me do an overview of what the theme for that night is as well, so you can get fully engrossed, let me know over in the comments. More than happy to record theme nights in future if you're interested, but this one in particular, before the release of Shimmering Skies, I'm going to pass on. But the doors are there for you to decide. Hit me up on here, hit me up on Discord, on X, on anywhere. Let me know if you want to see it. Anyway, my first turn for the final game. We ink a Friar Tuck, and do I get my 1-drop? No, I don't. A fantastically good sign for when you're dealing with aggro, you fail to get your 1-drop. It begins. You can probably guess where this is going to go just because the 1-drop did not come down. But let's not count the chickens. Let's not count them before the eggs have indeed hatched. We have the Lumiere on turn 2. Fiery boy. Fiery passions. Blazing onto the battlefield. As Nat, Maleficent on mat, Maleficent on field. Pays 2 for the Simba. Classic! First chapter plays again. You cannot deny the classic first chapter plays. Absolutely brilliant. Bit of nostalgia. Is it nostalgic? I know Lorcana hasn't been out for long, but is it technically nostalgic? I mean, we're 5 sets in. We're soon to be 5 sets in. So, I guess so. Again, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, play out the Prince John turn 3. Sing, sudden chill, get a discard. Nat discards a Chernobog followers. I draw a card off of the Prince of the John. So at least I'm ready for next turn. And it's over to Nat to carry on. 2 lore on the board already. 3 lore potential on board with the bodyguard Simba. But what else does the aggro god have in their hands? That is now your nickname, Nat, and you better embrace it. I want to see some more aggro. And there comes the Donald of the Duck. +1 over to Maleficent, turning Maleficent into a free lore gainer. The +1 on the Simba as well. So here's us. We're just adding up, doing maths at the moment. I want to add a disclaimer on screen that yes, we play Lorcana. That does not mean we have math degrees. So if we do miscalculate at all during our games, it is because we simply do not math. You have been warned. So yes, she went from 2, quested for 3 with Maleficent, to get to, let me see, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then quest for 1 with Simba to get to 6. So yes, Nat, you were correct, everything's fine. Let's move back onto my turn, shall we? Maths has prevailed this day. Good stuff. We have not been defeated by the math gods. At least not yet. That may happen in a future game, and it's bound to happen at some point, I assure you. Anyway, tough situation on board. Very tough situation on board. I've got a Prince John, I've got a Lumiere, and at the moment, no chance! That's a reference for anyone who's interested. Okay, we have to ink the cubby, because we're only on 3 and we need that 4. I then pay some ink, there's another Lumiere, and there's also a Li Shang. Big plays, plenty of characters, which is only a good thing. The more characters I have, the more damage I can deal. So I have Lumieres out that make each other into 3/2s. I have a Li Shang that is now a 4/2, and I have a Prince John that is a 3/2 in his own right. Nat has 2 bodyguards on the board, a 2/3 Simba and a 2/3 Donald Duck. And I'm going to trade. Prince John slays again, decides to take out the duck. Fantastic, what a trade. You trade a Prince John for a Donald Duck, I say that's a net profit. Then I thought, you know what, I have to get somewhat a control of this board. I'm going to trade one of my Lumieres into Simba as well, just so I can get into the Maleficent next turn, because I couldn't do anything with the new Lumiere or the Li Shang because they're freshly played, they don't have rush. Hey ho, it's how we go. I think another thing that I could have benefited from this deck is if I maybe ran the, I believe it is a 3-cost Stitch, or is it a 2-cost Stitch with 3 attack, 1 willpower and rush. Maybe I could have benefited of something like that, I don't know. Nat plays out Queen's Castle, the intimidating location. For even more passive lore, quest for 2 with Maleficent. back to my turn. I ink. I play Be King Undisputed by Maleficent. Finally get rid of him. Now I have 2 counters on the board. I have 5 damage that I can deal to the castle. Do I deal 5 damage? Or do I quest? I decide to deal the damage. Because now I know, next turn, I can smish into the castle and hopefully get rid of it once and for all. Being unable to kill it right off the bat is a downer. Do not get me wrong, but at least it's on 5. Nat will have to play out cards with Rush in order to take out any of my guys. Recently just inked a Fox, so I'm in high belief that Nat will not be able to play a Fox this turn to get rid of any of my guys, so I should be fine. Inking the Goat. Youch, it's never a good thing when you have to ink the Goat. Pays 1 for Maleficent. Incoming 4-drop. It's the 4-drop Joshua Sweet. He's only a bodyguard. He's a 1/5 bodyguard for Quest for 2. And he's oh so sweet. Look at his card art. He is a very sweet man. Love him in Atlantis. Love him in the game. A very sweet bodyguard, some may say. But that does set up another threat on the board that I need to get rid of. The fact that he's a 1/5 is one thing. But the fact that he's a 1/5 for Quest for 2, big scary. But my big threat is also getting rid of Queen's Castle, because Nat did that. Nat could have just played Maleficent, moved Maleficent into Queen's Castle to benefit from card draw, but I think Nat made the right decision, because I am going to take out Queen's Castle this turn to get rid of it, so Nat wouldn't then have a location to benefit off of getting another card. Kind of makes sense. So this time I could go into Joshua Sweet, but I'm just not big enough to tackle the sweetness. I instead decide to quest. I'm finally on the board, ready to go. Hopefully I can make some kind of comeback. There's Piglet. It's over. You see the little Piggle? It's over. It's absolutely over. There is no chance unless I've got some crazy way to control this absolutely crazy board. Nat on 14. I'm on 1. This is dire. Super dire. I have to play out the big Li Shang. Raw play because I can't do the shift cost because I don't have another card in my hand, but it's still okay. He's a big boy. He'll bolster the troops. Maybe. Hopefully he won't. I can dream, Harold. So here's me doing some more maths in my head. So that is 2 damage and 3 damage onto Joshua Sweet, taking him out. I take 1 damage on the Prince John and the Li Shang, and then Lumiere gets rid of Maleficent. So now Iggle Piggle is back to just being on their lonesome yet again. I should be absolutely fine. There's a Noki of the No as the Iggle Piggle goes up with the quest, questing up to 15, was on 14. Back into my turn. I've got a long way to go, but I have come back from worse, ladies and gentlemen. I've managed to win a game where my opponent was on 19, being able to control the board just insanely enough so I can make a crazy comeback. I only need a couple of cards and everything should hopefully work out. We trade, getting rid of the Piglet with the Prince John, because I'm not going to benefit off of any discard tech at this moment in time. We're going to quest big with all the boys. I now have Flynn Rider on the board to hopefully help me gain some extra lore, because there's a lot of very low attack people on the board. Pinocchio questing for free, taking that up to 18. It's down to this card. If I cannot remove Lilo, and I can only remove Pinocchio, it's game over. I gain my +3 off of Flynn Rider at the start of my turn. Do I get it? Do I get the card I need? I need Brawl. I need something to get rid of that Lilo in the back. Ovi, you can cut the intensity with a knife. What do I get in my hand? I sing. Yep, strike a good match. I have 2 more chances. Do I get it? Do I get it? Discard Agrabah. What's in my hand? It's a Cove. No, couldn't do it. After all that, I couldn't do it. I just move everyone into the Cove. I will do the one thing that I think is plausible. Quest with everybody to get the biggest total I can. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a shaking of the hand. Nat prevails. Aggro beats Fight Club. And that is the end of the game and the end of this series of matches for this time around, featuring Lorcana from Geek Retreat. Thank you guys for joining in on the fun times. I hope you've enjoyed. It's been crazy fun times. Shout out to Nat, shout out to the guys at Geek Retreat, and all that fun jazz. You guys have been legendary as per normal. As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more Lorcana action in the future, be them games, deck testing, you name it. If you want even more Lorcana action in the meantime, be sure to follow me over on TikTok. There's a link in the description below where you can join me for even more fun times with more personal videos that I have with you guys as well. On top of that, in the description, you also have a link over to the Discord server. You can check out the deck I've been running throughout all this time, the other decks I've constructed, decks that you guys have constructed, and we chill out, we talk about stuff, we can play games, all that fun jazz as you do on a Discord server. And last but not least, in the description, big shout out to Magic Madhouse for supporting the channel and supporting you guys as well. If you click on the link in the description, that'll take you over to Magic Madhouse. You can buy anything TCG, TTRPG, board game related, and anything you get. Not just will you get a little bit off by clicking that link, but it will also help me and the channel directly with anything you purchase through that affiliate link right there in the description. Every little helps. You're not forced to do so, but it's fair if you're keen. Ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said and done, I will see you next time for deck testing matches, because the next matches you'll see will be the first games from Shimmering Skies with the new cards and the new expansion. I can't wait. I'm pretty sure you guys can't wait. I'll see you then, and until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly, stay explosive. I'll be seeing you guys next time.